Okay, for those of you who haven't heard or is probably not a Naruto fan, the sixth Shippuden movie Road to Ninja has been released online in Korean. So unless you're too damn impatient for the English subs to be released, or if you understand Korean, go online and check the movie out. The whole movie should be on YouTube by now. As for me, I'm just gonna wait till the English subtitles come out. And who knows, maybe I might get to review it just to see if it's any good. I mean, considering all the hype I heard about it, it's gotta be at least better than Blood Prison, or Lost Tower, or Kizuna. It's gotta be at least better than that. That wasn't actually a good movie, Kizuna. Also, got some good news for those who are watching the anime. The Sound 4 filler arc is now finished, which I will admit was kind of cool seeing them back together again, facing off against Shikamaru, Kiba, Akamaru, Neji, and Choji. It's done now, so we can finally move on. However, the bad news is fillers are still going to continue. God freaking damn it. But next week's episode might be promising for those who are fans of the Yugas. It's going to feature Neji and Hinata. And from the looks of it, it's going to probably develop more of their bond between the two. Honestly, I just think they're giving Neji some more screen time before he, freaking hell, if they don't summon him sooner, I'm going to lose it. Because if this keeps up, we might have to see him in the anime until the summer. And it's nearly summertime, it's spring, so come on, hurry it up. Well, with that being said about the anime and the movie, cue the intro! Hey guys, LunarSpy1127 here, bringing you Naruto chapter 624, Aiko. Aiko? Why is it called Aiko? Hashirama was ordered to gather intel about the Uchihas through Madara, and Madara the same thing except vice versa. However, both of them try to warn each other that it's a trap. However, they get caught by the trap, and now their fathers and their younger brothers are going to face off against each other. On one corner, you have his brother, Hashirama's brother Tobirama, and his father Butsuma Senju. On the other corner, you have Madara's younger brother, little Sasuke, Izuna, and his father Tajima Uchiha. Seriously, in this chapter, Izuna looks so much like Sasuke. It's kind of weird. So first off, the younger brother is starting to attack. And while that's going on, we get a narration from Hashirama. Shinobi have it drilled into their heads at an early age. Never let your emotions get the better of you during the heat of battle. However, when it comes to the adults, if either one of their sons were killed before their eyes, no matter how strict their training and their discipline, even if only for a brief moment, they'd become flustered. So yeah, even their fathers would become really pissed off if their sons or daughters, any of their relatives or close ones, were killed during battle. So yeah, these two decide to attack their opponent's younger sons. But before their weapons get a chance to hit their targets, they get blocked by Madara and Hashirama's skipping stones. And they jump in front of their younger brothers, protecting them. And considering the situation that both these two were in, Madara thought that even with their talking of the Senju Uchiha uniting and creating their own village, it seemed nothing more than wishful thinking. So it looked like that Uchiha and Senju were going to fight again, but Madara tells his father that Hashirama was actually the one that's stronger than him, and that they would obviously lose if they fight against the Senju. So the Uchiha decided to fall back. But Hashirama, he believed that creating a village and uniting the Uchiha and the Senju together was not wishful thinking. Madara thinks the exact opposite, because no matter what happens, at the end of the day, He's an Uchiha, and Hashirama's a Senju. And Senju and Uchihas are mortal enemies no matter what. Madara can't get over the fact that his brothers were murdered by the hands of the Senju. And he tells them next time they'll see each other, it'll be on the battlefield, not as friends, but as adversaries. And during this conversation, Madara has awakened his Sharingan. And I guess when you recall what Tobirama was talking about of the Uchiha curse and that the Sharingan was a symptom of that curse, I guess how Madara awakened it was probably because he was actually losing a friend. Not like losing a friend like he died or anything. It's just that because of this conflict, he now no longer accepts Hashirama as a friend because he is a Senju, and despite all the good times they have each other, they are mortal enemies no matter what. So in the end, he awakened his Sharingan because of the loss of the person that he had as a friend. Again, that kind of sucks that their relationship has broken up like that. Their friendship. And despite all of this, Hashirama seems to be the better person. His brothers were murdered by the hands of the Uchiha as well, and yet Hashirama does not seem to bear any hatred towards the Uchiha. And yet Madara bears hatred towards the Senju because his brothers died by their hands. And despite the Uchihas murdering Hashirama's younger brothers, he is still willing to at least try to create a village where the Uchiha and Senju can unite and become strong together and obtain peace. Now, a brief amount of time has passed, and when I mean brief, I mean a lot. Yeah, this chapter has been incredibly fast-paced. The next time they met, they fought against each other, and yeah, according to Hashirama, the friend who he'd shared so many moments with was dead to him. And that's from Madara's point of view, at least. So many times they would meet in the battlefield and they would actually fight against each other. In one panel, you get to see Madara not only mastering Katon or Fire Style Jutsu, you get to see Hashirama using the Mokuton Jutsu. Another problem with this chapter is that despite it being fast-paced, which could be a good thing, we didn't get to see Hashirama awakening or developing his Mokuton Jutsu. When did he obtain Wood Style? So what the hell? Now, again, more time has passed, and these two were actually clan heads of their clans. And during this battle, we get to see Tobirama facing off against Izuna again. This time, Tobirama uses a technique called Flying Thunder God Slash, which is the Hirai Shingiri. And I'm like, wait, Tobirama knows the Hirai Shinjutsu? You'd think it would be original because of Minato, but then again, I think I remember that he not only mastered Water Style plus the Edo Tensei, but he also was able to use Space-Time Ninjutsu. That's what I remembered, at least. So maybe Tobirama was actually the original user of the Hiraishin. Hell, in this, he didn't even get to use any seals. Minato had to use seals. Dude, that makes Tobirama even more badass, honestly. That's kind of awesome. But I'm just speculating. I'm not really sure about Tobirama being the original user of the Hiraishin. I'm not that sure yet. But anyway, he used the Hirai Shingiri at Izuna, and Izuna sustains a serious wound. Despite all the fighting these past years, Hashirama still wants to create a peace treaty between the Senju and the Uchiha. He's like, look, Madara, maybe we should stop all this. Come on, just join us. We could create our own village like we used to talk about when we were kids. It could still happen. That way, none of all this fighting, all this bloodshed can stop. You can still save your brother, Come on. Now, Madara was about to, I guess he was thinking about this, but Izuna, even though he was pretty injured, he tells him not to fall for it. So he grabs a smoke bomb and poof, they're both gone. Even though the Uchiha and the Senju have been fighting, the Uchiha were always outclassed, yet they have the freaking Sharingan. They've been outclassed so many times that there are some Uchihas that betray their own clan and try to join with the Senju. That probably pissed off Madara a lot. And then you cut back to more time. I don't know if it's like the same day or maybe the next day. I don't know what has happened, but the next time that Hashirama and Madara met, Madara has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Now, I know that this is Hashirama's point of view, but what the hell? I wanted to at least see Izuna's death, but I guess that won't happen unless we get Madara's flashback story. Now, we know like how he obtained the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. We just don't know whether Izuna agreed to this or not. We don't even know if that wound inflicted by Tobirama was that fatal. I mean, all of a sudden, he has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan because he wanted to restore his eyes? Or was it because Izuna agreed to give his eyes to make his brother stronger? We don't even know that. He's saying that he awakened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, took his brother's eyes because he wanted to protect the Uchihas. Now, I don't know if Izuna agreed to this or not. We'll probably have to wait until Madara's flashback. But since we know that he awakened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, that obviously means Izuna is dead, and because of this, it just drives his hatred towards the Senju even further, blaming Hashirama for his death. And yet, despite all this, Hashirama still wants to create a peace treaty with him. And then all of a sudden, he awakens, he releases his Susanoo, telling Hashirama that there will be no truce between the Uchiha and the Senju. And you'd think we would get an epic battle. No, they skipped it. What the fuck? Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan released Susanoo in Hashirama's wood style, and we get to skip that battle? Now granted, it's not the Valley of the End battle. This takes place before Konoha was created. It's 24 hours. They've been fighting non-stop, and yet despite having Susanoo and the Mangekyo Sharingan, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he still lost to Hashirama. Wow, I don't know if I should feel sad or just laugh at him. Hashirama made Madara his bitch. And we didn't even get to see the fight. And the funny thing is, it seems that every time these two fight, Hashirama seems to be the only person to be able to beat this guy. Hence why I think that Hashirama is gonna face off against Madara again as Edo Tensei's. I want that to happen. Please let it happen, Kishimoto. Madara is exhausted on the ground, and it looks like Tobirama is gonna finish him off once and for all. But Hashirama's like, wait, don't. But Tobirama, he asks him why, because if they kill him, then he can finally end all of this. But Hashirama, he's like, touch one hair on his body. I dare you. One hair on his head or his armpits, anywhere, and you are dead. I swear to God. I don't care if you're my brother. This actually made Tobirama almost piss his pants. And the funny thing is, the way the earlier chapters have been pointing at, it's like Romeo and Juliet, but they're both guys. So insert Romeo and Juliet joke here, or better yet, insert yaoi joke here. Madara, I guess he's willing to give up his life as long as if Hashirama does it. Because if he does it, then he can finally rest in peace. But Hashirama doesn't want to do this because if he does, then the young Uchihas who admired Madara will probably create some sort of anarchy and get revenge on the Senju. Constant cycle of hatred. But according to Madara, the Uchihas don't view him as a great leader, apparently. And Madara still blames Hashirama for the death of Izuna, yet technically, if he did die right after that battle, then shouldn't it have been Tobirama's fault? So if Tobirama did give him that wound, then maybe that wound was poisonous and fatal to his body and he couldn't live, so I guess his dying wish was to give him his eyes. I guess that's one theory. But then again, if Izuna was still alive and yet Madara still took his eyes, he was probably dead after that. So it would probably either Tobirama's fault or Madara's fault, because Madara wanted to protect his brother. He cared for his brother, and yet he's dead. He's dead right after he took his eyes. So, yeah, either his fault or Tobirama's. Hashirama still wanted to earn back Madara's trust, and apparently the only way he can do that is to either kill himself or his brother. And that's where the chapter ends. So that is Naruto chapter 624. My thoughts, well, I will admit this was an okay chapter, but the flashbacks, the pacing was really fast. I mean, there were some battles that we could have actually seen between Madara and Hashirama. You know, the battle like right when Madara awakened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. That would have been an epic battle. But no, we didn't get to see that. We also didn't get to see Hashirama developing his Mokuton Jutsu, or even awakening it. And you know, another thing, we do see most of these Senju and Uchihas most of the time. When are we gonna see the other clans? What happened to the other clan that allied with the Uchiha? No. In this series, it's always the Uchiha or the Senju, and sometimes the Uzumaki. And speaking of the Uzumaki, when are we gonna see Mito Uzumaki? You know, the first Jinchuriki? She was Hashirama's wife. And you know, speaking of females, how come we don't see any other female Uchiha and female Senju? The only female Uchiha I ever recalled was Mikoto, Sasuke's mother. And Tsunade was like the only other female Senju out there. In fact, I think she's like the only Senju left. The Senjus were like this really strong clan that outclassed the Uchihas. And yet, what happened to the rest of them? Were they all wiped out? I'm not counting Yamato because he was technically a clone. And I guess if you think about it, he's actually Zetsu's brother. They're both made by the same Senju DNA. It's kind of weird. Yamato and Zetsu are brothers, if you think about it. So what happened to the Senju clan? Were the numbers like dying down over the past years? I mean, we only seen Tsunade. We haven't seen any other Senjus. Where are they? What happened to them? Are they still alive? Are they all dead? Is Tsunade the only one? We don't know. Also, is Kurama gonna play a part in this? Because he was manipulated by Madara with the Sharingan before, but that was at the Valley of the End. Now, considering the outcome of this chapter, it's obvious that Hashirama is not gonna kill himself or his brother because, considering the timeline, yeah, these two have to be alive in order for Konoha to be created. I just hope that we get to see other clans. Focus other clans for once. Enough with the Uchiha, enough with the Senju. Just other clans, give them the character development. Come on. So maybe next week's chapter might show the village actually being built. Maybe we'll see the Uzumakis and Mito. And, you know, knowing Madara, he actually does put his trust towards Hashirama. But then we know that eventually he is going to betray Hashirama and Konoha. The Uchihas would probably not help him at all because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that part of what Obito said was true. And speaking of their friendship, these two had a really good relationship going on, and yet they broke apart because of the conflicts between these two. They couldn't overcome it, and in the end, they became enemies, and yet Hashirama still wants to become friends. Again, this just proves how much better Hashirama is than Madara. And yet, this Madara was the one that had a freaking Susanoo that can cut off mountaintops. This is the one that took down the 5 Kages. And yet, he couldn't defeat one single person when he was alive. But then again, he was modified earlier because of the Senju DNA when Kabuto resurrected him with Edo Tensei. But yeah, that's beside the point. So overall, I thought this chapter was okay. I just wish that if it wasn't so fast-paced like that, we could have actually seen some more things. And I'm just hoping that the next flashback arc consists of Madara and when he awakened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Because I really want to see Izuna's death. But as I said before, this flashback is like, we're on the 4th chapter and this isn't going to end anytime soon. Probably have like another 5 to 10 chapters left. Could be less, could be more. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, that's Naruto chapter 624. It was okay. I'm going to Spiral 27, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.